Hello, hello. I've come along today to share a couple of kits and a bit of a make. If kit videos are not for you, please move along. This one's not for you. However, I am going to have a go at making some faux mica because I'm going to be using mica and I wanted to kind of have a little go and see if we could make some. I'll put that in the timestamp. I'm using two new kits today. One of them is my people pairs. I've actually had a little bit of a sew on that one. So we've got lots and lots of kind of couple photographs really. My new photo kit. I also have, this one is a little bit bigger than the previous photo kits because we have some backs and we also have some kind of little fun sayings and sentiments that would go with the kit, and also there's some kind of vintage dates that would also work with the kit. The other kit it's a Victorian photo album page kit. It's not huge. There are just some TN size pages that are Victorian style photo albums, and I'm going to be using those today. So my plan is today we're going to have a little look at distressing photographs. Mine are printed, I don't know if you can see, they're printed onto Epson semi-gloss premium photo paper. You may or may not be able to find this where you are. It's not a cheap photo paper, but it is absolutely beautiful. The results are lovely. So that's what I'm using. You can use any photo paper that's suitable for your printer. Obviously, mine is inkjet. So let's get started. Now, some of mine I have cut out using my deckled edge trimmer. Some of them you don't get much of an edge. So let's pull out a few photographs. Let's just go for those three. Although I'd like a little sepia tone one maybe. Oh, let's go wedding photo. No, let's look. What should we use? Quite like that. There are some super fun photographs. Okay, so I'm going to use these four for today. Now, I have had a little bit of a practice on a few photographs. Some of them worked, some of them didn't. But the first thing I'm going to do is pick one. Let's go this one. It's super cool. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is just kind of fold up the edges a little bit like that. Just fold them over, and let's do this end as well. So I'm just going to put a couple of folds in there. Now, like I said, I'm using photo paper, so it's going to crack quite nicely. If you're using a matte photo paper, you might get a slightly different finish, but don't let that put you off. It's still going to look fabulous. So let's do that. Now I've got my sanding block and I'm going to go across the bottom. I don't want to go over my people. That's not what I want to do. I'm going to go this way as well. And you can see what it does to those creases. It puts an absolutely lovely kind of vintage look to them. Let's just do a little bit down the edge there. Photo number one looks a little bit like this. I absolutely love it. Now I am going to be using scorched timber, something nice and dark. I'm only putting a little bit of ink on, dabbing some off, and then I'm just going to go up and down those scratches a little bit. And then I'm going to put those creases in and just put those, ink those folds. Now it actually looks good in white as well, so you don't have to ink them. I just like the look of that inked. Gives it a bit of a sepia kind of tone. Now I'm going to take my water sprayer and just put a couple of little drops on there. Again, take my wipe and just dab some of that water off. Now, because I've used photo paper, it's going to make my photo a little bit sticky until it's dry. But you get this kind of lovely aged look. Okay, so we have that. which I love. Let's do another one. I'm going to do something a little bit different on this one. I'm going to take this photo here. Again, I'm going to go in with my sanding block. Not folding this one at all. So we've just put some scratches. Hopefully you can see those. We've just put some scratches in here. Now I'm going to take my scorched timber and I'm just going to go round a couple of the edges. I'm not doing the whole thing like that, just to give the edges a little bit of an aged look. Now I'm going to grab my spatula, and I found this is the better of the two. And now I've realised why it didn't work so well, because I wasn't using crackle paste. Oh, right. So we're going to use our crackle paint. Open that up. And I'm just going over some of the areas I've scratched, and I'm keeping it thin. I'm not putting this on too thick. Again, this is optional. You do not have to put things like this onto your photograph if you don't want to. So that is now going to take several hours to dry. So I'm going to put that one up high, out of the way. This one went a little bit wrong. I actually sprayed my desk a little bit too close to the image. So most of the ink actually went on the photograph. So I'm going to keep that one aside. Not necessarily going to use that one today. Let's see what else we have. Let's take this one. I've already sewn this one. So let's use this one. Okay, so I'm going to start again. I'm just going to do some sanding through those stitches. Takes that stitching off. I'm just going to ink around the scratches I've made in this. I actually love what it's done to the stitching, because obviously it sanded the stitching off, so that stitching now looks quite rough. Let's try this again. I'm going to take my scorched timber and just put a little bit on my desk. A little bit of water in that, quite a bit actually, and then I'm just going to dip the edges in. Right, and put that aside to dry. Let's have a look at some of that I've already done. This one I've used textured paste on this one. This one has the crackle paint. I hope that is picking some of that up. I haven't gone over most of the main image. This one again is textured. It's the textured paste translucent. I'm not so keen on that. This one has just been kind of scuffed up, but I've left the creases white on this one. And this one has also got the crackle paint translucent, which is went a little bit over the top there. I did cover some of her face. And this one again is just inked and then wet. So we have a few now to choose from. I'm going to add mica to the top of one of my photographs, and this is going to be inspired by Shabby Soul. I'm going to find myself a little dried flower, and we've got this one, and I've got a little daisy. I'm going to use both of those. So we've got the baby's breath and a little daisy. I'm just going to put those over there so I don't lose them. And I have some mica here, so I'm just going to grab a piece out, and this piece I've already torn off, so this is super thin. That's going to work. I think that's going to be a little bit too thin, so I'm just going to grab out another piece. Let's have a look. What photo? I'm just going to check out some of my. Right, that looks good on there. So does the daisy. I like that one. It's got the crackle on it. Okay, I think I'm going to do the small one because the fake mica might not be big enough. And let's do this. Just going to pull off that little bit. And I'm going to have that on that particular photograph. And then I'm going to use this one with the daisy. Put that aside in case I want that later. So the bigger photograph, I'm actually going to use the mica. It's a bit fiddly because it's come into two. I'm just going to move my little flowers out of the way if I can. Right, I'm going to try and tear my mica. I'm going to add that over my image. I think I'm going to have it that way. So the great thing about mica is you can cut it and you can break it. So I'm going to cut that straight across there, and then I'm just going to fold it about there. Okay, so you can see it's got some kind of natural little bubbles in and things like that. So I'm going to use that. And this is where it might get a little bit messy or go a little bit wrong. I'm just going to take my pin out, take my first little piece, just grab my first little piece of flour, and I'm just going to put some glue as best I can onto a couple of these little dried flowers to be too secure, but just to hold in place. Just lay that down over my image, very gently push that into place. And then I'm going to add a little bit of glue to these ones. And I'm going to add that there. We just have our little flowers just added to our image. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do exactly the same with my daisy. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the back of the dried flower. And then just lay that over my image. I'm just going to cut the end off that one so it doesn't stick out too much. Right, so this one is going to have real mica over the top and will look something like that. So let's put that there. And this one we're going to try and make some fake mica. Now it's not going to be perfect and you just need one thing, maybe two if you wanted to be a little bit fancy. But I'm going to take some just plain old packing tape, find the end. Now what I want to do is I want to, as I lift it, I want to keep lifting and opening. I don't want to just pull a piece of tape off. I want to pull it up a really small amount each time and just keep putting it down and lifting it up and doing it in different directions because we want a bit of interest on this tape. Wiggle it from side to side and you can see you've got a bit of a pattern on your tape. Now I'm simply going to lay it down, put my thumb in place and just as neatly as I can fold that in half. I do want a few little creases, which of course I haven't actually got this time. I'm going to cut that off, use my bone folder and just burnish that down. Now you can see, if I can grab the actual mica, we have some kind of, can you see the little effects we get here? We've got something very similar in our tape. If you just pull your tape off, you don't get these blemishes, which is what makes it more authentic. Now there is a very slight tint to this. I have tried using some alcohol inks, which works, but what I've found is I've also tried to do something completely random. Can you see on this one? I actually tried some crackle paint, but it just comes straight off. It doesn't adhere, so that doesn't work. But this one is actually 3 layers, because what I did was take my, let's move that picture, take my scorched timber and just inked one side of the tape. Now, of course, that is going to come straight off. It's very subtle. You can't see an awful lot. It's just giving it a very slight tint. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my tape one more time. Okay, I've got my tape and I'm going to do exactly the same again, giving it a wiggle. Not too, you don't want to go too mad with this top layer, and you also need to make sure you don't get your fingerprints on it, because they will show up. And then I'm just going to this time lay it straight down over that tape, cut that off, grab my bone folder and push that crease out, which gives it an even more authentic look, because it looks like some of the mica that cracks, which is absolutely super cool. Let's put that down. And we now have something that looks a little bit rough and tumble like that, which is much more like the mica. And I think if you haven't got this, this is a very good alternative. Wouldn't necessarily work on some of the larger pictures, but if I take this, let's grab that. I love it. I absolutely love it. I think I'm going to go over the centre. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut an edge, straight edge at the bottom, hold this over my image and cut it to the height of my photograph. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut a kind of line so it looks a bit broken. I don't know if you can see. If you can see that, let me try and hold it over the image. Can you see? Hopefully you can. Hopefully you can. Now, the one thing with this is it's a little bit more tricky if you want to put this through your sewing machine. I'm going to. If you're not confident, don't do it. But we now have this effect, which I love. I absolutely love it. My mica keeps flying across my desk. Right. I'm just going to go off and put some stitches in these and then be back. So these are our 2 photographs. I absolutely love how they turned out. And like I said, this is inspired by Susie. It was a 2023 ideology video. I'll try and find it. And if I can, I'll link it down below. So those are my 2 images that I'm going to use for the first page in my album. So I am going to be making a cinch journal with these. It will be the next giveaway journal. I know I haven't done the current giveaway journal as yet. It's just been an absolutely crazy time here, but I will do that. So I want to use two pages because they're both a similar look and I don't want them on the same page. So let's pick 2 of these. I've backed all of mine, and because they are going into my cinch journal, I actually want them in half and I'm going to cut them. So I'm going to fold mine like that because they'll be in my journal like this, but they are going to be ring bound down the middle. And I'll do the same with this one like that. And I'm just going to take these to my trimmer and trim them. So these are now in half. I'm going to start with my little one. I'm just going to ink my edges. Okay, so this one it kind of lends itself to one of these little square images really up there. But because we have this one where I've got that lovely crackle paint on, I'm actually going to ink the edges of this photograph, and I'm going to include that. So I think I'm going to have both of these on here, but I don't want them just as they are. I'm going to take my little labels and cut. Okay, so I have some of the backings here. Some of them have quite decorative edges, so I'm going to possibly layer up something here. This probably is going to be the one that works the most with this particular one. So I'm going to ink this like that. Now this is designed to go onto the back of a photograph. It will fit. If I show you these, oh, that's a thingy one. It will fit on the back of these photographs. Obviously this one I've left a little white border on, so it's not so good, but it does fit. Now we have this lovely album, but thing is, okay, I'm going to have to put cinch holes here. Seems a bit of a shame. Seems a bit of a shame to cover most of that up. I don't think I'm going to use it. I think I'm just going to glue this straight down. I actually like it as it is. I've got to be mindful of the fact that I'm going to be putting holes in these pages for the cinch binding. Right, I've got my little label. I'm going to add a staple at the top and the bottom of that. I've added the words better half. So I'm going to glue the whole back of this. Now obviously not all of the photographs in this set are Victorian, and it is a Victorian album, but I think that works really well. So that's my first set of pages for my journal, and so I'm going to fold those up, put those aside, grab this one, I'm going to give it an ink. Now this side is a bit lighter, so that would be able to be written on a little bit more easily, so I think I'm going to add my image to this side. Oh. So I'm going to glue the words down. I've chosen happy couple for this. Put that down and then glue the back of my photograph. Let's put that down. I think before I add any other photographs to more pages, I am actually going to put my holes in. So I might make a cover in a future video for this, because this will be the next giveaway journal after I give away the one I'm currently waiting to do. So that will be those pages. I absolutely love it. You can see the little scuff marks from the sandpaper, the beautiful flowers and the mica and the stitching. And I honestly do think that this one looks very much like mica. It really does. So I hope you'll give that a go. I hope you did watch along, even though it's a digital kit video. I hope you like the kits. They will be in my shop. I'll put the link down below. But I hope you got some ideas, even if you're not using the kit. I will see you all really soon. Bye.